Welcome to Marcasur. We are going to interview today Fernanda Magalhaes. She is a lawyer in charge of the marketing law and entertainment practice of the firm Kasznar Leonardos of Brazil. She had over 18 years of experience advising clients on strategic business practices, marketing, advertising, and branding matters. Welcome, Fernanda. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Fabiana. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Thanks to you. Which social networks are being used the most by companies and law firms in the moment?
Which social network? I think LinkedIn, number one for sure. But I see more and more firms and lawyers and professionals using Instagram as well. But I think the number one platform that I could mention would be LinkedIn. That's where I think the content is the best from a professional point of view, and I use it a lot.
Yeah, and you said Instagram. Instagram
Yes.
Live also? It's quite
sometimes, yeah, sometimes. I think not as much, but I think when the issues of importance, people tend to post on Instagram as well.
And the companies also,
especially to publicize it. I'm sorry. No, I'm saying especially to publicize events and to spread the word about a specific event. I think Instagram is very useful as well.
Okay, and why they use very much LinkedIn? What do they do there?
I think to post what people are reading about, so to really create a profile in the market, an impression in the market that you're an influencer, if you will, if they're your opinion maker, to connect with strictly professional connections of your network, so it's more of a professional environment. And that's the place that the market sees you, whether you're looking for a job or looking to reposition yourself or to look like, you have interesting matters in your hands. In the case of law firms, we want to show the type of things that we're working on, and be a source as well for information. If you want people to know you for specific expertise, you use LinkedIn to spread the word that you're that source of information.
We're talking about law firms, but the other brands are the same? They follow the same trends?
I think so. I believe so, yes. Yeah, you see in-house people, in-house professionals, in-house. I follow a wide range of folks on LinkedIn, from in-house counsel to law firm colleagues to economists to data protection experts and advertising influencers. So yeah, everybody uses LinkedIn for that matter. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's everything the same in every country in Latin America, no?
I think so.
Yes?
Yeah, correct. Yes.
And Fernanda, what is happening with Facebook that I guess it's not longer, it's not popular anymore among young people, but I don't know what about with the legal community?
The way I see Facebook is when I first started to really pay attention to social media, the platform was here in Brazil, Orkut. I wasn't here, I was in the US at the time. And there was the platform called MySpace, which, if I remember correctly, was bought by Fox Network in 2002 for a lot of money. And then Facebook really grew. So Facebook was really one of the first social media platforms. Nowadays, when you look out and you look around, there's so many other places that people actually connect. WhatsApp is a huge tool, especially in Brazil. I don't think it's necessarily true everywhere in the world, but in Brazil it's mandatory that you have WhatsApp for all sorts of business. So you have WhatsApp, you have obviously Facebook itself, you have Instagram, you have Snap, you have TikTok nowadays. So I think the more you make it diverse, the bigger the challenge for the platforms to continue to be relevant. I wouldn't go far to say that Facebook lost its relevancy, but perhaps the younger generation, definitely younger than me, are really using other platforms as well. So maybe they're spending less time on Facebook. I don't know. It's just my impression, my overall impression.
Yeah, some years ago, brands used traditional ads in newspapers or TV shows. Now they are on video promotion or websites with articles online. What do you think that the traditional ads, maybe they will continue or not anymore?
No, I think there's always going to be space for traditional, let's say, advertising, but tradition is also changing. We see so many changes already in the mainstream TVs where, you see product placement where they're used not to be. You see endorsement by professionals, spokespeople from the TV, from the traditional channels out on the internet, on social media. Everybody has a TikTok account. Everybody has an Instagram account. So it's a lot more diverse and a lot more not so centralized with one major media channel. But for sure, if you want to reach the masses, if you want to reach all categories of people instead of niches of many people, you'll go broadcast, you're going to go to mainstream. So no, I don't think traditional advertising is over. I think we're just going to see more and more different forms of advertising. You're going to be exposed to brands and to brands' message in not in a advertising piece way, but still is advertising, still publicity language. But it's just not going to be as clear as to a block of time on your screen where you're being exposed to brands. You're just going to experience the brands. You're going to relate to brands. You're going to even talk to the brands. You're going to be able to have a relationship with the brands. And that obviously not happen in that traditional format.
Yeah. Now, during the pandemic, various streaming and some streaming and platforms are being reinvented. Is it true?
Yes.
Do you see this phenomenon?
Absolutely. I think Brazil hit a global record of YouTube lives during the pandemic, where everybody was home, and very, very, smartly, I guess, the advertising industry here saw an opportunity there to entertain, people and to show the brands in a very smart way, in my view, because it wasn't pure advertising, but it was content, offered in a very hard time where everybody was home. Nobody was having any sort of entertainment other than on their phones or TVs, smart TVs. And that became a humongous business model for publicity here, for advertising, where you offered music, especially content, but all sorts of content. We see influencers doing this. We see opinion makers creating that, and obviously the music industry as well, reinventing itself because there could not be live shows. So they found a way to have a show for free and entertain their public, their fans, but obviously, with the use of advertising, that was possible from a financial point of view.
What are you doing in Kasznar Leonardos during the pandemic in marketing strategy?
Marketing. From a firm point of view, I mean, we have been working as if there was no difference. I mean, obviously we're not together in an office. All the offices have been closed in São Paulo and Rio, but everybody continues to work very strongly. Yes, there was a little bit of an adaptation there the second half of March, as everybody was home officing for the first time in probably their lives the way we're doing now. But soon after, everybody picked up, and the team has been delivering really good results. And in line with that, we didn't stop the marketing of the
You
firm
didn't
in a
stop
way
it.
to,
You
not
didn't stop
really. I
it at
mean,
all? Uh-huh.
the marketing,
Yeah.
no, not really, because our marketing is the organic marketing, is the posting on Instagram, is writing articles, is you know, reaching out to our clients and doing live events and webinars and participating in interviews such as this one. But we have done a lot of um, you know, a lot of activity around to be out there and to be partners of our clients, to continue to be. So I don't think the limitation of the situation, the pandemic, or even the home office situation, really, obviously we're not doing live conferences and live meetings and stuff like that, but from a content point of view, let's say, we didn't stop at all. Maybe we have even be more productive and more focused.
Really? More
Yeah,
activities.
I think so. Yes, more active. Yeah.
But in some countries, there is a economic crisis because of the pandemic, and brands start to invest less in advertising. What do you think about this situation?
Yeah, it's hard. We all gonna have to reinvent ourselves. I have a lot of clients who are in the live entertainment business, whether it's, you know, back production companies that had to suspend their production of content, or live events that just couldn't have the event because the authorities have, you know, we're in pandemic, we're closed, there's no way we're going to have a live event with a group of fans or something like that. And that all has been affected. But I think, at least here in Brazil, what I feel is the businesses had to reinvent themselves. They were forced to reinvent themselves. And as much as it hurts, and as much as it may not go back right away to the level that it was before the pandemic, I have seen my clients really pull through and be very creative and come up with very creative ideas. Instead of shows, they do live events like we talked about. Instead of you know, sophisticated production for content, they do video conferences, and that's where the joke comes out, and that's where it becomes a routine, a performance by the artist. So I tend to see more positive than negative, even though it's a very, very difficult situation, especially for those that really can't work, and that affects the business and that's a reality. That's just a very tough reality.
And some alternatives that you mention now, they are not very expensive.
They're not very what?
Expensive. Sorry? They are not very expensive. So
exactly.
But what is the risk, Fernanda, of using so many platforms? There are a lot, and I don't know, in terms of security, maybe, or maybe the audience don't see everything, and it's tired of, you know, like a lot of information. What do you think?
Right. No, that's definitely true. I mean, everybody's worn out of screen time, right? As they say, from kids to adults to the fans. There's a lot of information and, frankly, a lot of content. But I tend to believe that if you really had a good base and a good connection with your fans or your consumers before, and you're able to continue this connection in a different way, but continue that connection, you will lose less than maybe you thought you would. But at the end of the day, this is the only way we can have brands connect with their fans, is through digital at this moment. People cannot go to the store and experience the brand. They can't experience the product. They can't. So it's basically the only way to get your consumer to look at you from a marketing point of view is advertising. So maybe that's why we are seeing so much traction in my business, in my practice, because companies realize that consumers are not going to the store, so they're not looking at their packaging. They're not experiencing the shoe or the Snickers or the clothing. They're just reacting to the brand, to the value of the brand, to the impression and the values that the brands the brand brings to the table. So maybe that's why there's so much investment in that at this point, because that's all it is at this point. It's just advertising to be remembered.
What are the new trends in marketing?
I think it's not a new trend, but it's a stronger trend. It's just to find real, ways to connect with your consumers. I think one sort of pandemic trend that came up was definitely the lives, at least in Brazil, where brands understood that they could be very successful in communication with their consumers by being next to an iconic artist or an iconic singer or performer, and that way they really would be remembered. As you said, there's a lot of information. If you can be remembered among all the things that are happening, you're in a very good place. There are rankings of brands that have been remembered for a number of reasons, whether it's to be associated with a good content or for the actions those brands took in terms of social responsibility and helping during the pandemic and doing the right thing. So I think that's a trend in terms of marketing. Maybe it wasn't so intended to be a marketing communication tool, but at the end of the day, brands that did the right thing and they were able to stay relevant and remembered by their consumers. So I would think the social responsibility that was shown during the pandemic would be a trend, if you will, because it was effective.
What is your advice to brands about marketing strategies now during the pandemic, related what you were saying maybe?
I think advertising is don't stop advertising, don't stop connecting, don't think that people will remember you in 3 months if you're not out there. How to advertise is the tricky question here, which is not a lot of companies have huge budgets to advertise on mainstream TV. So you're going to have to use the social media platforms and other forms to really be out there. And to do that in a relevant and effective way, you have to be smart. You have to be creative. You have to be real. You have to put the brand in the context of people's lives, and it can't be forced. It can't be fake. People know that. People smell that. But advertise. Put it out there and invest on your brand image and your overall impression on consumers. Make people, experience your brand. And I think that would be the best advice. Don't be quiet at this moment. Don't be absent.
And after the pandemic, what do you advise? Well, what to do? The same, or maybe
the same, but with the same in terms of the concept of continue to be relevant to your consumer. I think that's sort of a given in marketing. But I would think that, if you're able to bring people back, I don't know how the afterwards is going to really look like. I think it's going to be a continuum of adaptation, the new norm, as people say. So I think brands are going to have to continue to advertise and then make that connection with the real norm, the new norm. I'm sorry, in terms of the experience of the brand. So if your brand was about interaction or providing people an opportunity to connect, such as live shows or something like that, you're really going to have to rethink how you're going to offer that. So I think after advertising and making sure that people don't forget you're going to have to continue to deliver that promise in live life.
Yeah.
Post pandemic. So so you're effective. I think so.
Well, thank you very much, Fernanda. It was very useful, and it was nice to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation.
Thanks to you. We were with Fernanda Magalhaes from Kasznar Leonardos from Rio, Brazil.
Yes.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.